So it is 2:21 a.m. on Sunday morning, and I am up doing my seed planning for spring 2019, which I've been very excited to do. But during the day, it's just too much going on with a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old, and it's so noisy that I just can't have any uninterrupted moments to get it done. To even if I try to start it, you know, mommy, somebody wants something, or someone did something. So it's quiet right now, and for some reason I'm not tired, and that's what I'm doing. Call me crazy, but that's what I'm doing, and I'm very excited to get it done because I'll be starting these seeds, most of them indoors. I think the first one is around February 20th. January 23rd is the first date that I'll be planting some things. So that's just in a few weeks. So I'm very excited to get that done. Okay, so here is my new grow light setup. I had these shelves, so I stacked 2 of them together and took my lights that I had already, and I took these stems off of here, and I got some chains, and I just kind of tied them around there and then looped them around here to get the height that I wanted. This is an extra one that I have for now. That will go on still on the bottom table, but right now there's nothing in here, so I just set it up there for extra light up there. But I'm so excited about this. This will work much better. I feel like it's less crowded than having everything on the square table like I had before, the card table, by having 3 layers and then a double tray on the bottom. So that's exciting. I do have, and I bought this last, summer sometime, and it was the 42 millimeter. I did not want that. I wanted the bigger ones. Well, I could use these, but I want for this right now I have these in there. These in here, which only thing I don't like about these is that you'll have to transplant them up to the next thing, which is for me would normally be one of these. So, before I went from these, then I would take one out and put one in each of these size. The size here, which is annoying. It would go from here to the next size. That got old real quick. Really quickly that got where I was like, I do not want to be having to do this every time. So I don't think I'll be using these. I have them sitting in this tray here, but I don't think I'll be doing that. I will be doing these. What I also like about these is that you don't have to use so much of the seed starter mix, but I don't need to use that if I do the peat pellets. It's just a lot easier. And then if I get the bigger ones that are 50 millimeters, I don't have to transplant them into this next size. Once they're grown for like 6-8 weeks, they can be transplanted right outside versus me transplanting them into the next size pot inside. So I'm definitely trying to order some 50 millimeter peat pellets, and then I will, if I don't use all of those, I may do some things directly just in this size, because I have several of these as well. I have lots of this size. So I'll probably do that, and then I can transplant them from here strictly outside. I just don't want to be transplanting from doing indoor transplants, from the smaller to another smaller, bigger one indoor to another bigger one indoor before transplanting it outside. I want to do one and done, plant them here. Once they're here, plant them outside. So it's a lot less work that way. So I'm looking for these, but anyway, again, this is just my new grow light stand here that I've gotten together. Now I just got to figure out what I'm going to plant. As far, well, not what I'm going to plant. I know what I'm planting. How many of everything I'm planting, which is what I've been doing in my planning notebook to see what I'll be doing from there. So that was what I wanted to show you guys. Okay, almost done with the planting stages. So now I'm just going through the seeds I actually have so that I can see how many of each variety I have. Because I have, you know, for example, peppers. I have sweet peppers here. There are a lot of different kinds of varieties in here. So I'm not just going to plant one sweet pepper. It's going to be different kinds. So that means a pepper horizon. Sweet peppers, king of the north. Pepper orange bell. California wonders. Orange bell again. I have two of those from different seed companies, but just for example, like that's just one way that there's different. Another California one from a different company. Juvenils. More California wonders. Emerald giant. So there are many different varieties of each vegetable that I will be planting. So now I'm going to go through here, like I said, and just see, you know, what variety I'm planting, and so how many pots am I going to need for each of those. I have lots of seeds. So here's what I've got so far. Just what I know, the dates that I'm going to be planting, whether it's indoor or whether it's outdoor. And this date over here is the date that I'm going to take it out of the grow light and start transplanting them outside in the garden. And then I have a whole other list for herbs. So this is everything that I'm planting. So again, I just got to go through and make another list of how many peppers, you know, how many are going to be eggplants, how many are, well, celery is just one, I think. You know, how many tomatoes, you know, again, lots of tomatoes. I know there's a lot of those ones. This is the second round of those because those are growing outside now. So those can be another one that's for the early spring. Peas and spinach are another one. You know, just how many of everything. I have more than one zucchini. I have more than one cucumbers because I have some for pickling and I have some for just cucumbers. So lots of different things in here. So that's what I'm doing this morning, as long as the toddlers allow me to. Okay, so this is all my different varieties of tomatoes only. Just tomatoes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 different varieties, and I have some of them are multiple packs from different places. For example, the Roma tomato, I have these from Seeds Now. I have 2 packs of the same ones, Martino's Roma from Seed Savers Exchange, and Roma tomatoes from Baker Creek. So for all of those Romas, you know, oh my gosh, I may try to, if I have multiple seeds from different places, I may try to plant one of each of them just so I can see the differences if there are any. But I have 17, I think is what we counted. 17 different varieties. So I need at the minimum 17 tomato plants. But if I have additional places that have the same tomato, I want to try them both. I don't know if that's going to be possible, so I may just stick to try doing 17 tomato plants and see where that takes us. But yeah, 17 varieties of tomato plants that I will be planting for this 2019 growing season. Here's my harvest from today. Like I said, it was the basil. It's crazy because I literally just took these off. I mean, it's 11:10 right now a.m. and I took these off maybe, I guess, no more than an hour ago. It's funny how limp they start to go once they lose their source from the stems. You can see them just looking kind of flattened out. But it's the basil, the sage, and the oregano. That's all I took today. I did some pruning of the herbs that are here this morning. Basil was really high. Like this light that I have here had to be was touching the top of this, so I cut this down so these could stay where so the light could be, you know, high right there. And so this is what I left on here. I could still take some of the sage down, but it's not really necessary. Like I'll let that stay on there for a little bit. The oregano, had some long stems on there. This is parsley that's doing very well. I didn't cut anything from the parsley because that was just planted on December 8th. I'm going to be planting some of those herbs that I was talking about that I was doing my planting for. I'm going to do some of those just like I have the parsley and the oregano and the sage and the rosemary in these big cups here. That way they have a nice abundance that I can harvest a lot at once instead of doing them in the smaller peat pellets like these. When I start planting the peppers and the tomatoes and everything, that's what I use those for, is the vegetables. But the herbs, I think I'm going to do all of them in these pots here. That's what I'm going to do for those. That way they just grow, you know, they have a much better amount that will be coming out, because those will be going into the veg truck that's outside. I have 3 of them, and those will all be filled with just herbs. So that's what those are going to be. And the tomatoes are still a few of those still on there that are waiting to turn. So when they turn, I will be harvesting the rest of those and getting rid of the rest of these plants. This one, oh yeah, this still has, there's one that's orange over there. So that just has 1 tomato left on it. So this one will be going first, and then I'll have some more space in this tray because there's only 1 tomato on this plant, and that's already turning orange, so that'll be done. I have some basil in there as well. There's some basil growing, a little one. I threw a little 1 seed in there, in that one. That plant looks like it only has maybe 1 tomato up on it as well, I think. Nope, 2 tomatoes left on this plant, so that'll be going fairly quickly as well. This one in the middle has several, and with my salads that I've been eating, I need them. I wish I had succession planted these tomatoes so that I would have another grow of plants coming behind them, because I'm running out of tomatoes and I do not want to buy them in the store. It's terrible. So I may do that. I may just grow one more, just 1 plant instead of 3. I may do that today just to get something else started before we can start growing the main ones for outside for this spring. So yeah, so that is the update on the Grow Light Station. When you see this video, it will have the last 2 days. Today's Monday. It'll be from Saturday night up until today of things that were going on for our home. And that's that. So I gotta order some more of these, like I said, but I'm gonna get the 50 millimeters for the peppers and the tomatoes, so I don't have to transplant them into bigger pots like those. So this is exactly how it will be set up. 2 on the bottom, 1 on the second row, 1 on the third row. edit area. Currently working on an update of the chickens. While Spencer's eating lunch, Silas is... No, Silas. That's not your sandwich. Out of your mouth. Okay, eat your sandwich. You say cheese, okay.